Hey, it's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here, and I'm swinging by the GeekCast Radio Network. Hey, it's Jack here, and I'm listening to the GeekCast Radio Network.
Hi, this is John Delancey, and you are listening to the GeekCast Radio Network.
Welcome to the final countdown as we are presenting you with the GeekCast Radio Network's nominees for the 2026 edition of our Top 100 Animated Series. I am, of course, Steve and Mike. Joining me, as always, is Steve Megatron. Hello, sir.
Yo.
And there's OptimusSolo.
Oh.
No rum, folks. No rum.
Yarr.
Yarr.
There be no booty here.
No. Oh, we're all flabby-assed around here, folks. All flabby asses. How is everybody? It's been a while since we did one of these things.
I'm good. I'm back in the land of the living after like a 3-week cold.
Yeah, for a 3-week zombie infection is what he had, really, folks. The zombies got him. He went to too many Comic-Cons. Speaking of Comic-Cons, we just wrapped up Baltimore Comic-Con 2025. The Comic-Con Concierge came on, and we did a convention attention about Baltimore Comic-Con 2025. So that happened. And we're going to get back to the nominees. And this is, as I said, the final countdown for this. And we're going to go from the 2020.
I know, I was thinking that too.
That was the whole point. That was the whole point. Let's just hope YouTube doesn't kill us on you singing that.
I didn't sound close enough.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Well, it's not the right pitch, so it'll pass.
Right. Let's hope. So in this one, we're gonna go from the 2010s all the way up into the half decade that we are currently in now, because we haven't finished the whole decade of the 2020s yet. So remind people, OptimusSolo, what this format is all about.
So instead of letting people vote for thousands and thousands of cartoons and making everybody's life difficult, we decided to narrow it down by nominating certain cartoons from each time period. We've already done 4 episodes of this, so we've revealed 50 nominees from the pre-80s, from the 80s, from the 90s, from the 2000s. And here's where it gets interesting, because now we're venturing into the time period that was not covered by the original Top 100 countdown, because it's 15 years later, folks, and these are the last 15 years. So there may have been some that had just barely snuck into our knowledge banks when we were doing this countdown from the ones that got released, right at the beginning of this one. But most of these had not come out yet when we did our original countdown. So it's going to be interesting talking about these. And as we've referenced in quite a few of the other nomination episodes, these would be the ones that could be kicking out some of the shows that we've already talked about, right? Like we talked about, there's been 15 more years of cartoons. These are those cartoons that we're talking about. So any of these that get in, something from before has to get out. So that's why I said it might get interesting here with these 50. And as we've said throughout the other ones, if you made the list of 50, that means that you're at least noteworthy of being talked about. And we may have some special things coming along as well to get the fans involved that Steve or yourself can maybe tease at the end. But this is the last official list of nominees. So we are going to reveal these in alphabetical order like we have for all of the other ones. So there's no votes that have been cast yet. None of these have made our list yet. These are just the shows that are going to be eligible. Did I get everything right there, Mike?
I think so. Also, want to remind everyone, so no one freaks out and thinks they've missed out on anything. This, as he just said, this is just us revealing what is eligible. This is just us telling you. This is just us giving you a taste of things to come. This is us letting you know what is available. As I know I'm repeating what he already said. but it bears repeating because apparently some people have missed what we've said. We are doing
and I
this.
missed what the people missed that we said. So that's interesting.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that some people have.
Basically, it's we've done this for 15 years, right? And we've done a number of different top 100 countdowns. And
Right.
What makes it easier for people that are trying to compile their list is giving them less choices. So instead of like 3,000 cartoons to choose from, we're giving them 250 about.
Well, right, but we've never done it in this way. The format we've always done is we behind the scenes have gotten, the three of us have gotten together, or sometimes it's been, usually we'd have Peacock Michael with us, or we'd have somebody, maybe it was Comic Concierge Dan or somebody. We've had, usually it's 3 or 4, it's usually us 3 and maybe a 4th. We'd get behind the scenes, we do all the work, and then we would send out emails. We are still going to be doing that. We have not done that yet, so you haven't missed anything. That's my point, folks. Let's get into the list.
Let's get into the list, he says. All right, starting, we're going to reveal these in groups of 5, so I'm just going to name off the 5 shows, maybe a slight amount of data depending on which set of shows it is, and then we're going to get the panel's reaction to those shows. So starting with the first set of 5.
Yeah, you think you're pretty way up there, but I can get you.
All right, let me just add 3 more drops of explosive diarrhea.
Ooh. Hey, Princess Bubblegum, when we bring the dead back to life, will they be filled with worms?
No, if my decorpsinator serum works, then all the dead candy people will look as young and healthy as you do.
And just like that, everything changed. At that terrible moment, in our hearts, we knew home was a pen. Humanity, cattle.
Are you nervous, Hiro?
No way. I want this. Why would I be nervous?
You're 14 and going to college.
Your brother is like a legend here.
Also, I hear the new dean is a hard case.
Beach! This episode of Bluey is cool. The beach! Mom, beach! Beach!
Beach! So we have to sell some burgers. Every year this weekend makes or breaks us. Who's farting?
It's Jin's sound effects thing.
I thought that made you sound like a robot.
Right, we have Adventure Time from 2010, so the first year in this block here. It's aired 283 episodes. It was on 4 of the 9 lists that we kind of looked at as reference for this. It's won over 33 awards, so Adventure Time is our first one. We have a little bit of a anime style here or flair with Attack on Titan. That's from 2013. We have Big Hero 6, the series from 2017. We have Bluey from 2018, giving us a little international flavor, I guess. And there's always some adult cartoons involved. So we got Bob's Burgers from 2011. That's had 269 episodes and won over 30 awards as well. So that was Adventure Time, Attack on Titan, Big Hero 6, the series, Bluey, and Bob's Burgers. I'll go first with this first set. And like we will mention a couple different times in the previous episodes, and we'll probably mention it a few times this episode, some of these shows have not been seen by 1, 2, or 3 of us, but it's not time to cast our ballot, so we still have time to do homework. So you might hear us reference the rule of 5 or on our watch list. That means that there's a show on here that we have not seen, but we're going to give it a view of 5 episodes to see if it's going to garner a vote from us. So there may be some blind spots. The closer we get to present, the harder it is to have seen everything because we haven't had 40 years to see it. We've only had the last 15 or in some cases, maybe even less than 5 years to see it. So I'll go ahead with my blind spots first, even though this one has been out for 15 years. I've never seen an episode of Adventure Time, so I cannot speak to that. I haven't seen very much of Bob's Burgers, but it kind of fits in the same ballpark as quite a few other adult primetime animated series. So to me, it becomes like what distinguishes one from the other on that one. Big Hero 6, I've seen some snippets of. I'm not the biggest Big Hero 6 movie fan. I mean, it was fine. So it's not something that really draws me to the cartoon. I have went ahead and seen one episode of Attack on Titan. I think the premise is interesting, but I've only seen one episode, so I need to see some more to figure out if it's something I would be willing to cast a vote on or not. Like I said, interesting premise, but I didn't get far enough in to see anything. I will say out of this 5, the one that's probably most sure to get a vote from me would be Bluey. I know that's geared towards a younger audience, but it's very intelligently done, and it's got a wide appeal to it, both critically and just from the kids that it's aimed at. And I think it's also one of those that kind of has a dual thing where it's both good for the kids and the adults that are watching it. So I would probably be voting for Bluey. I know Adventure Time probably has the biggest reputation on the group, but like I said, I just haven't seen it yet. So Mike, what are your thoughts on this set of 5?
I've seen snippets, clips. Sometimes I've seen a little bit longer than a clip of Adventure Time. I know about Finn. I know about Jake. I know about the Ice King. It's not my favorite style of animation. I've heard about Attack on Titan. I've never seen it. Disney and their animated series after the fact of a film, I stopped doing that after Lilo and Stitch. Not because Lilo and Stitch, the animated series, is bad, but just because that's when I stopped doing it. I just stopped paying attention to that. So I saw Big Hero 6. It was a good enough movie. Did I think the movie warranted its own animated series? No. So I've never actually seen that. Bluey's out of my age range. I don't have children, so it's not really my thing. And Bob's Burgers is, again, that's one where I will have to give it the 5-episode chance. But what I have seen of it, it reminds me so much of a different version of King of the Hill.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yeah, I feel like, there's a lot of people that can put like Cleveland Show and American Dad and Family Guy in like a basket. And I feel like you can do similar things with King of the Hill and Bob's Burgers. So that's kind of interesting. But Steve, what's your take on this set of 5?
So Adventure Time, I tried watching this, gave it a couple episodes, hated it. I'm sure there's some redeemable qualities to it. I just didn't like it between the animation and just the whole premise of it. I didn't care for. Attack on Titan, I watched a few episodes. I normally like anime, but I've discovered I do not like this dark of anime, like the stuff that kind of borderlines under the horror sphere. I like more of the Inuyasha, the Dragon Ball Z, the Naruto, Yu-Gi-Oh. Those. I've discovered that just by watching multiple of them recently, and this is not one that probably will land on my list either. Going over to Big Hero 6, while I think the premise is fine, I mean, I watched the movie and I liked the movie for what it was. I wasn't a huge fan of it enough to rewatch. So while this is kind of interesting if you want continuation of it, it's not something that'll probably land on my list either. And I can see where the appeal would be for Bluey, because it is kind of interesting in a different way. Probably still not going to end up on my list, but I can see where the appeal would be. I mean, I can see the appeal for any of these, really. It's just not, none of these are probably things that I personally would care for enough to vote for. And Bob's Burgers, I was never again, it's an animation thing. And that's kind of the thing with most of them, except for Big Hero 6, is I just didn't care for the animation style. And they're, funny enough, none of these are Nickelodeon. And I didn't like any of them. And I've seen bits and pieces of Bob's Burgers over the years, and it just never, I mean, it wasn't bad. I just didn't care for it. I would have rather watched, Family Guy or, South Park or The Simpsons compared to this. So it is what it is. So none of these would probably end up on my list.
All right. If you disagree with our takes on any of those, feel free to comment on the episode or hit us up on all the various social media. All right. Let's see what the next set of 5 holds for us.
For a lot of people, life is just one long hard kick in the urethra. And sometimes when you get home from a long day of getting kicked in the urethra, you just want to watch a show about good, likable people who love each other.
Please.
Yes.
Goku's done it, hasn't he? He's finally achieved it.
Yes.
It's astounding. This mortal really is something else. Look at that brilliant form. There can be no doubt. This is the true power, complete in all its majesty. This is autonomous Ultra Instinct!
Well, it certainly lives up to the hype. Astrid, what are you doing?
What do you think I'm doing? Defending Burke and my family honor. We'll see who's a coward.
Good morning, Uncle Donald. You can't wear this to your job interview.
To navigate this demanding warp speed world, we can all use a helping hand. But how do you know who to trust? One company cares for every man, woman, and child on our planet. Cobra Industries. Now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
Right. We have one that if you do any type of research online, a lot of it says that this is one of the apparently best animated series of all time. I don't know if I agree yet with that or not, but the first one on this group is BoJack Horseman from 2014, another one of those kind of more adult primetime comedy animated shows. We have Dragon Ball Super, one of the newer reinventions, reboots. Steve will give me the right term eventually of that franchise, and we've obviously seen a few of those come up in the previous nomination list. We have DreamWorks Dragons. This is the How to Train Your Dragons animated series, which has spawned off numerous kind of versions and spinoffs and different things of that nature. We have the reboot of the original DuckTales, which came out in 2017. And we have G.I. Joe Renegades. So interesting thing about this one is we have 3 of them that are new chapters in franchises that we already knew about, or I guess you could say 4 of them. One of them is more of a new chapter from an animated movie world with the DreamWorks Dragons, but Dragon Ball Super, DuckTales, and G.I. Joe Renegades all a continuation or a new chapter in those franchises that we've seen come before it. And then BoJack Horseman obviously is something fairly new and unique for what it was. I will say BoJack Horseman, I've watched 1 episode, so I haven't done the rule of 5 for a lot of these, but I wanted to see at least 1 episode going into this record of a handful of these. So I did watch 1 episode, and it is interesting. It's almost like Charles in Charge blended in with like an Adult Swim flavor, and then blended in with like a Family Guy / Futurama, Simpsons type thing. So it's kind of interesting. It does tackle, from what I've read, a lot of mature or deep concepts. Like it deals with, I don't know, like depression or different things that, adults may be able to relate to. And this BoJack Horseman is the lead guy, even though he's a horse. But he's definitely like the first episode feels exactly like Charles in Charge, but he's Charles. I was entertained enough by the first episode that I'm going to give it the other 4 episodes of viewing before I cast my final vote. So I'm intrigued by it. I just haven't seen enough of it. I have not seen enough Dragon Ball Super to make a statement, but I know Steve will back me up on the knowledge base for that one when he gets a turn here. DreamWorks Dragons, my daughter is obsessed with. And I will say it's a fairly well done animated series version of what was an animated movie first. So I'm not a big fan, like Mike said, when Disney does that a lot of the times, but I feel like in this situation with DreamWorks, they did a fairly good job continuing this story and giving us lots of different stuff to look at with the dragons. So I think that one is growing on me. I do think that the 2017 version of DuckTales was well done. I think that is deserving of being in the conversation, whether it gets in or not. G.I. Joe Renegades, to me, if it would have gotten the proper treatment and been able to finish or last a little bit longer, I would be way higher on it. I really loved what we got. I just feel like it was one of those that just didn't get to finish it, which I think if it would have finished, it would have been much more solid in my thoughts here. So I'm leaning towards potentially, I could see all 5 of these getting a vote. So I don't know how it'll come down to. It's probably going to be a game of numbers with how many slots do I have left. Steve, what do you think of this set of 5?
So I have not checked out BoJack Horseman yet. I'll actually probably do that after we record, just based on that. Plus, I see Will Arnett's in it, which I like his stuff generally. So I'll give it a shot, even though just from the images it looks ridiculous. Just talking horses. I don't love the animation just based on the graphics, but I love it better than the Cal Arts. So I'll definitely give it a shot. Plus, it's it's a Netflix thing, and like I said, Will Arnett. So I'll give that a shot. Dragon Ball Super is actually a show that came out in 2015, which it was like 18 years after Dragon Ball Z ended, and it actually picks up from the end of Dragon Ball Z. So it's 2 seasons, 131 episodes. They, of course, bring in more new transformations, new characters. Some that were in the past get sidelined, some don't. So it's a continuous power escalation in this. Goku definitely loses some of his some of the mannerisms that he had in Dragon Ball Z. Like he's more goofy in a sense. Like there's more goofy stuff going on. Like even some stuff with Vegeta as he mellows out. Like there's more goofy aspects that kind of come into play. And then there's some things that are, they start getting into like God tier deities in the show and that they're fighting and training with, and other universes and things like that. And more power-ups between all the different characters. And it's currently in limbo and possibly coming back next year with the fact that Akira Toriyama, the guy that created Dragon Ball and Z and Super, and had passed away last year, like 2024. So it threw his whole estate into kind of disarray. So they've been sorting it out for the last year after Daima ended. So should have new stuff coming out next year. But yeah, I love it just from the sake that it continues the story. It's gives new toys, it gives new story, new transformations, and of course continued with the same voice actor. So that one will definitely be on my list. DreamWorks Dragons, I haven't watched the animated series. I've seen all the movies though, and I liked all of the movies pretty well. There a lot of the DreamWorks films, honestly, I've kind of enjoyed over the years, more so than some of the more recent Disney stuff outside of Pixar. And so this I'll probably give a shot. I can see it having a place on a list though. DuckTales, for me, having only, I've seen bits and pieces of this one. I don't have any ill will on it. It does look more simple than the original in a lot of ways between color and aesthetics, but it's not bad. And it did manage to go on over 100 episodes. So obviously they did something right with it.
Yep.
And if I had to choose between two that look pretty much identical, like one's a reboot and one's, the original, I'm going to go with the original over this. But I could see this one being that for the newer generations. And then getting into G.I. Joe Renegades, I enjoyed it for what it was at the time. I never enjoyed Cobra Commander in this one with the half faceplate, the almost Destro thing. I hated that aspect of it, but I liked the newer take, and it definitely fit that early. It looked more like it belonged in the late 90s, early 2000s animation. Like just the aesthetics, like it kind of had that Men in Black or the Godzilla or that
Right.
look to it. And again, I agree. Like, I'm sad that it ended as quickly as it did.
It only got one season, didn't it?
Yeah, sadly. I mean, you had Jason Marsden, Kevin Michael Richardson, Charlie Adler. You had David Kay. So I mean, there were a lot of people we knew in there, and I feel like it was a good show overall. It could have used more time, but I think that was also during the whole the hub.
Yep, it was
during that time frame, and so a lot of that kind of went down the crapper when they shut down the hub.
Yep.
Mike, what do you think of these 5?
I need to give BoJack a good 5-episode shot. Again, with the DreamWorks Dragons thing, I've seen the first How to Train Your Dragon. That's the only movie I've seen out of that entire franchise. DuckTales 2017 wasn't the one with the doctor. One of the doctors, isn't the Dr. Scrooge or something or other? One of the doctors from I forget which one it is. Isn't it David Tennant plays the voice of Dr. Scrooge in that? I think. That's what I'm saying. I think David Tennant is.
I was so confused when you were talking about the doctor. I did not follow you.
See,
like
Ludwig not Ludwig von Drake. And then, like we were just talking about Renegades, poor Renegades, it didn't get the shot that it deserved. But we got Jason Marsden clips out of it. But yeah, no, I don't know. Like for me, if I was like we said, like if I had both the 2017 and the 87 series on my list, 87 is going to be higher than 2017 just from what I remember. But what I remember of 2017, what it did do right is that it got the whole mystery angle. DuckTales 2017 to me, what it did well is exactly what Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. did well. It played up that mystery angle so well, and it got kids and adults back into those franchises. Because before Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc., the Cartoon Network version that Derek J. Wyatt did the art direction on, Scooby-Doo was just having Aloha adventures, and they were just doing random movies.
The direct-to-video series of Scooby-Doo movies. Yep. All right. Well, let's see what the next set of 5 brings us.
Summer break.
So do you want cheese on that, hon?
Sure, Pie.
A time for leisure, recreation, and taking her easy. Unless you're me.
What? Bloody hell! But it's billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne! No! Are you shitting me? What is wrong with you? Don't you think I would have done that had I wanted to? Half the fun of our relationship was the mystery. Now I know Batman is just some boring rich asshole with parental issues. Wayne Tech promised an electric car by this year. I put a deposit down. Where's my goddamn electric car, Bruce?
We were supposed to be inside. I should have never trusted the flawed calculations of a clone. Clone? I'm not. This was always the plan. The president is targeting us, so we shatter the illusion of his safety. It's not enough for us to kill him. It has to be a spectacle.
You gotta be kidding.
Coffee?
Gah, don't do that!
I thought you might like coffee. It's good.
Why are you showing me your teeth? What is that?
You're gonna need that coffee after I get through with you.
Donut?
Get that away from me. Is it poison?
It's chocolate.
I'll talk. I'll tell you everything.
Just get him out of here. Fried sourbugs? Ugh. Tastes like stale moss. Got any more?
Whoa, wait, G! Cannonball!
All right, starting this one off, another super popular one, I believe, in the pop culture realm is Gravity Falls from 2012. It was on 4 of the 9 lists that we looked at, which was difficult for a lot of these because some of the lists didn't go this current. So if it appeared on any of those lists, it probably has at least some credence to it. We have Harley Quinn from 2019. That appeared on 2 of the lists we looked at actually as well. We have the fairly new one. I think this is the first one we've talked about. When Steve, you said Dragon Ball Super was from what year? 2015?
Yes.
Okay, so this is going to be the first of our shows that actually debuted after 2020. So we have from 2021, we have Invincible, which is the superhero adult mature take. J.K. Simmons and a lot of other folks involved in this one. Definitely a very popular modern cartoon. We have, well, this is kind of interesting. We had Harley Quinn, we have Invincible, and we have Justice League Action from 2016. So we're going to get a trio of comic book related series here as well. And then we have Kulapari and the Army of Frogs, also from 2016. I'll let somebody else go first on this one. Mike, how about your take on Gravity Falls, Harley Quinn, Invincible, Justice League Action, and Kulapari Army of Frogs?
Never heard of Kulapari Army of Frogs. So I'm going to have to look that one up. And
luckily, I have seen all of that one, so I can fill in the gaps on that one.
Okay, good. Because never heard of that. Gravity Falls, I avoided like the plague for the longest time. Just because I don't do the spooky, I don't do the scary, I don't do the Mulder and Scully type stuff, the conspiracy X-Files type stuff. And even though Dipper and Mabel Pines are brother and sister, they're basically mini versions of Mulder and Scully kind of things to me. I eventually did come around to it, and I watched a couple of episodes here and there. It was never my favorite because it wasn't X's favorite thing. She was obsessed with it. No. I ain't going on that California adventure again. But it does deserve a spot, I think, for that type. For the type of cartoon it is, there's nothing like it. The only thing that cartoon is missing is a Great Dane. But it's not it takes spooky without the kooky kind of thing. Like it's kind of like, what if the Goonies had an animated series, but is set in modern times kind of, at least that's just what I can remember off the top of my head. At least that's what I think of it as. And it was very good. I enjoyed what I saw of it. Would I ever watch it again? No, probably not. Do I think it deserves a spot? Yeah, because it's probably one of the only Halloween type. I don't want to say Halloween, but Halloween just passed. It's one of the only modern conspiracy spooky cartoons out there that is not Scooby-Doo or a version of Scooby-Doo. Harley Quinn, I've heard nothing but good things, but I've never actually sat down to watch it. I've seen like 1 or 2 episodes of it. I think, again, without looking it up, if I remember correctly, Diedrich Bader does the voice of Batman in that.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And
Invincible
Penny is Harley Quinn.
Yeah. What's that?
Kaylee Cuoco.
Yep. We already talked about Invincible. I know of the comic book. I think I've seen like 3 panels of the comic book. I need to check out the comic book. I know I know everyone's probably going to say in the comments, you don't need to read the comic to understand the animated series. I like reading where the origins of stuff came first. I like reading the original source material first before I dive into whatever they started second kind of thing. I've already talked about it already. Justice League Action is it's such a comedic genius version of Justice League. You have, I think it's George Newbern. I basically think it's the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited cast reunited. So it's George Newbern as Superman, Susan Eisenberg as Wonder Woman, Kevin Conroy as Batman, reunited. I don't know how many other characters are, how many other voice actors as the original characters from the original DC Animated Universe shows are reunited in that, but I know at least the Trinity are. But yeah, so yeah, good list for section 3.
All right. For Gravity Falls, for me, that's on my to-do list of stuff I need to watch, because I've seen little clips when I've been grabbing images or sound clips or whatever, but I've never actually sat down to watch the episodes to see what they're like. So I need to do that. As most people know that have heard anything that we've ever done, most of the Marvel and DC stuff is on my blind list, blind spots. So I've not seen Harley Quinn or Justice League action at all either. I have seen one episode of Invincible, and I do think that that is an interesting show that I am willing to watch some more of. I will say that I'm fine with like the animation style. They got some, obviously legit voices. J.K. Simmons is one of the main characters there. The first episode is just like moving right along, and there's a lot of tie-ins where you're like, okay, this is definitely like a spoof on some other things that you would see like in Marvel or DC. There's like a character that's clearly like the Flash, and then there's like they're not the Guardians of the Galaxy, but they're like the Guardians of the Globe, and like there's a lot of things that are interesting. And then at the end of the episode, the first episode, everything takes a crazy turn, and I'm interested to see where they go from there. So it's definitely I would say rated M, but not like, I think just because of a little bit extra violence, and I believe they swear a few times.
Yeah,
and
Invincible
stuff like that.
is not for kids. Invincible is for adults.
Right. No, I'm just saying, but like there's different ratings that make something for adults, and like I know some people are, it's not like I haven't seen anything that's like sexualized or anything like that, is what I'm saying. It's more like from a violence and from a vulgarity standpoint. But again, that's based on one episode. But I'm definitely intrigued to watch some more of it. Kulapari, An Army of Frogs, is, like I said, from 2016. So basically it's about a hidden village of frogs, and they are protected by like this magical veil and an elite group of poison frogs, which are called the Kulapari. And they have their homeland threatened by an army of scorpions and a magical, powerful spider queen. And the centers around a character named Daryl, who's a young frog who wants to be Kulapari, but he doesn't have any poison. So it's kind of his journey, and it's got an amazing voice cast. So Daryl is voiced by Josh Keaton, Mikey Kelly, Phil Lamar, Lacey Chabert, Keith David, Charlie Adler, Jess Harnell, Candy Milo, Cree Summer, Kevin Michael Richardson, Cass Soucy, and then the great Mark Hamill actually voices, I think, 3 characters in this, including like an old wise individual. And I just think it's well done. I watched all of it when it first came out on Netflix. I shouldn't say I've watched all of it. I've only seen the first 2 seasons. I did not realize there was a 3rd season that was on Hulu. So I believe I've just seen the first 2 seasons of Netflix. And to me, I know a lot of people aren't going to be familiar with this one, so it doesn't have a super great chance of probably making our countdown. But I do think it's like an underrated kind of hidden gem that if you're looking for something else to watch that you haven't seen yet, like I would give this one a shot, because I thought it was somewhat entertaining. Steve, what do you think of this set of 5?
So Gravity Falls, not a fan. Again, boils down to animation style. My kids, I'm sure, like it. I don't. Just not a fan of it. I have seen bits and pieces of that. Don't care for it. Harley Quinn, I've seen chunks here or there of it based on certain episode topics that I've sought out just based on what it's doing. It's an original take, and it's pretty interesting. You also get Diedrich Bader, coming back as Batman here, which he was in The Brave and the Bold. And I don't know. It was a different take, and it was interesting, and kind of played more with the psychology part too, and in some of the sections of it. I can see giving it more acclaim and watching. Invincible, I've not seen it. I've just seen memes from it. So I don't know too much about it. I know J.K. Simmons is in it, and Mark Hamill and people like that. So I'll probably be giving this one a good watch just to see whether it's something I want to add to my list or not. Justice League Action, I like it as well, similar to Mike in that scenario, but there's a lot of different comedy aspects with it. You also get Kevin Conroy coming back as Batman Bruce Wayne, and you get Dietrich Bader as Booster Gold, you get John DiMaggio as Lobo, you get Mark Hamill as the Joker and the Trickster, two characters he's played in the past as well.
You get that whole car scene.
Yeah, he plays Swamp Thing too.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying this for Kevin. Kevin doesn't really. Kevin only
he talks
cares
to himself
about
in the car.
acting.
Like there's literally a 5-minute episode he talks to himself.
Yeah, the whole scene is Swamp Thing, Joker, Trickster, and then Mark Hamill is driving. And then Mark Hamill as the voice actor,
all right,
uses his voice acting and tricks all the other characters
by talking like the other ones and making them beat each other up.
Yep. Hilarious.
And David Soboleff is Gorilla Grodd.
Yep.
Reprising from The Flash. So
Yep.
So yeah, that show I enjoyed it for what it was. Kulapari, I never heard of. It kind of reminds me of a Netflix version of Ninja Turtles.
When he was describing it, my first thought was, because you didn't say this part of it, but when you were describing it, I'm like, oh, okay, so poisonous frogs versus evil pigs. And I bet the lead poisonous frog's name is Kermit, and the lead evil pig, his name is Piggy.
Kermit the Frog here, and I'm leading an army of frogs.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right.
Somebody should make that truth. All right, let's take a look at what comes next.
When Kung Fu Panda comes to Nickelodeon in a brand new series.
I just got my little piggy who stays home.
Be here for every crunch.
Do you need to warm up or?
And every crunch.
My two favorite things, food and Kung Fu.
Dream.
क्या आप सुन रहे हैं? शायद कोई आ रहा है। धीरे धीरे बड़ी तबाही मचाने के लिए ये है टर्बो।
Have you noticed how often you lose your bets with yourself? If I were keeping track, I believe you'd owe yourself $15 million.
Don't worry, Jarvis. I'm good for every digital penny.
You could just contact them, sir.
No. We broke up the band for a reason, and like I predicted, Earth is doing just fine without the Avengers. It's just that...
Another glorious day as Spider-Man. Still not used to calling myself that. I know it's usually an exaggeration to say someone's life changed overnight, but with me, it's actually true.
Behold, the Lord of Destruction, Skeletor.
All right, next up, I'm hoping that you guys have seen some of these because I've only seen one of them. So we have 5 shows in this block, led off by Kung Fu Panda, Legends of Awesomeness from 2011. It's won at least 7 awards. We have Love, Death, and Robots from 2019, which has won over 30 awards. We have 2 installments from Marvel. We have Marvel's Avengers Assemble from 2013 and Marvel's Spider-Man from 2017. And then the only one that I really know anything about would be Masters of the Universe. You can call it Revelation, Revolution. I don't know if, they switch titles every season. I don't know if the series on a whole has an actual name after the word Masters of the Universe or not, but it's from 2021. We're talking about the Kevin Smith He-Man show. So I will go first because I don't have a whole lot to say. I haven't seen any of them except for Masters of the Universe. I think that show is amazing. I think it's well done, and I think it deserves to be in the conversation. But I don't know if it's too soon to warrant a spot in a top 100 list. I don't know if it's over, if they're going to continue to do more stuff with it, or how that all is going to play out. I'm a fan. I don't know if it is worthy yet of top 100, though. Mike, what do you think of that and the other 4 in this block?
There are certain aspects of the Kevin Smith Masters of the Universe series, both part 1 and 2, Revolution, Revelation, Robot Nation, whatever the hell they're calling it. And I think that is completely done. I think that story is done. I don't think Netflix is going to give him the reins to anything else with that franchise. I don't think Mattel is going to give him anything else at this point, especially what he did with Skeletor and Evelyn. But anyway, but yeah, it's way too soon. And that was 10 episodes, or what was it, 5 episodes each, 10 episodes each? I forget. I don't know. I didn't dislike it, but I just, compared to the other, I'm gonna say 2. Okay, 3. Compared to the other 3 that are in my mind, which is the original 83 and 85 series, and then the 2002 series, Kevin Smith ain't got no shot. He just ain't got no shot. I need to check out Love, Death, and Robots. I haven't checked that out yet. I don't even remember. I remember hearing about Avengers Assemble, but I don't remember that. Like, what year was that? Like, I don't even...
2013.
So that was right after, like... sorry. Like... And the sad thing is, anytime I hear the phrase, all I hear in my head is Chris Evans. That's all I can hear when he calls for the damn hammer. That's all I can hear. And that didn't happen until 2019. And as I already mentioned earlier, Marvel's Spider-Man is something I need to look into, because there were so many Spider-Man cartoon series with Josh Keaton as, like, there was Ultimate Spider-Man, there was this Spider-Man, that Spider, and I'm not saying anything against Josh, because I love Josh as the voice of Spider-Man. I'm just saying, under Disney, there were so many different versions of Spider-Man that I do not remember that version. Again, Kung Fu Panda, I didn't watch that show. I don't even remember watching the first of however many movies Jack Black had as that panda. So, yeah, no, until I watch some of these other ones outside of what I've already seen with the Kevin Smith Master series, I'm null and void on this list for this section.
All right, Steve, what about you?
So starting off with the beginning here, with Kung Fu Panda, I could see this one doing well, just because, again, it's a DreamWorks show. DreamWorks seems to do pretty stinking well with their animated series, akin to their live action, or not their live action, their films. So I'm all for it for the people that enjoy it. I personally won't be listing it, just because it's kind of a continuation of said movie, and so I don't have any problem with it being there, though. I mean, it's entertaining for what it is. Love, Death, and Robots, I've heard of it, but again, it's like a horror thing, and so that I'm not into that at all.
Right.
I want, intellectual type stuff too, but I also want comedy, and I just don't gravitate towards that. So that won't be on my list at all. Avengers Assemble. It's an interesting take on it. Very colorful version of the Avengers. Again, kind of looks like it goes in the early 90s, or not early 90s, early 2000s aesthetic. Not quite there, but pretty close to it. Not something I'll probably list, but to each their own there. I'm more of a DC animated fan. Marvel Spider-Man. Yeah, I didn't watch this at all, and really have no interest in watching it, just because I've got plenty of Spider-Mans that are already on my list. And then Masters of the Universe. That one, I have kind of a bittersweet aspect with it. I know we reviewed it early, and then the longer it's kind of grown on me, the more I'm like, do I like it? Do I not like it? Will I go back and watch it? Probably not. But it's like, but I also enjoyed the animation. I enjoyed what they did with it, and kind of taking the stakes up and changing the status quo with it, and doing something new. It's still weird hearing Mark Hamill be Skeletor for me, just because I know he's doing somewhat of a new voice, but I still hear Joker in it, so it's very difficult for me to take it seriously. But it's almost like he's the de facto villain anymore between Skeletor, the Joker.
Right.
He was the Fallen in the Prime Wars trilogy, Transformers Machinima series, and so I hear the same voice and everything, so it's just kind of difficult to take that out of it. But the seasons were overall really well done. I liked the fact that they changed things up. You got a different side of He-Man. You got the different side of Eternia and Preternia, and so it kind of added to the mythos of the original show.
Definitely got people talking.
Yep, definitely. So that one will probably be on my list, but that about rounds me out for this section.
All right. We'll go from the Masters of the Universe to something completely different with our next group.
Well, it's about time some pony got me out of that prison block. What a relief.
At every third moon's darkening, a champion is created to defeat the evil sorcerer, Nar-Est. And every time they have failed.
Present this new hero with the shard. Keep him hidden.
Somewhere lost in the clouded annals of history lies a place that few have seen. A mysterious place called the Unknown, where long-forgotten stories are revealed to those who travel through the wood.
Sky, quick! We gotta go! But what about Ryder? Don't worry, I've got a plan. Sky, head down fast! We gotta keep the lookout to the ground!
All right, starting off this next set of 5 from 2010. It's had over 200 episodes, won over 12 awards. It was on 2 of the lists we looked at. It is a pop culture phenomenon. How about My Little Pony? Friendship is Magic. Took the world by storm. Who knew? And then we have Nico and the Sword of Light. That was an Amazon series from 2017. We have Over the Garden Wall from 2014. We have another cultural phenomenon for a younger audience, Paw Patrol from 2013. And we have a show called Primal from 2019, which is a Genndy Tartakovsky show. I will go first with this one. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic will get my vote simply for the cultural impact it had on just, it went bananas, right? Like, and I did appreciate the appearance of John Delancey in there. That was fun. Out of all of the 80s shows, who knew that a reboot of My Little Pony was going to do what it did, I guess. Nico and the Sword of Light is another hidden gem, kind of under the radar show, I would call. This one, like I said, was an Amazon Studios, Amazon Prime Video series. It is centered around a 10-year-old boy named Nico, who's one of the last of his kind. And the Sword of Light obviously gives him some power. It involves the voices of the likes of Kerry Walgren, Jim Cummings, D. Bradley Baker, Steve Bloom, Corey Burton, Tom Kenny, Kevin Michael Richardson. So the voice work is phenomenal. I enjoyed the animation, even though it's like an American Flash animated type series. But I just thought it was, again, like this and Kulapari to me are very similar because it's something kind of off the beaten path, and it's not anime necessarily, and it's not the what I call lazy animation that we got from a lot of things in the late 90s and early 2000s. So I actually enjoy the animation on these two shows much better. And I just think it's a breath of fresh air for stuff, but I can see a lot of people not knowing what that one is. Over the Garden Wall, I've never heard of, but I've only seen good things when I've been doing research about it. It seems like a lot of people really, like, there's a lot of critical acclaim. I've never seen it. Paw Patrol, I guess in a similar way to My Little Pony, is just like kids go bananas for this thing. My daughter was definitely obsessed with Paw Patrol. She was one of the Paw Patrol characters 2 years ago for Halloween. She had a Paw Patrol birthday. Like, I don't know of a kid that doesn't like Paw Patrol. It's like I don't know what our generation's version of the would have been. It wasn't quite Smurfs. It was like, I don't know, something else that like everybody went bananas on back in the day. Primal, I've seen one episode of. I'm not a huge Tartakovsky fan necessarily. This one is about a caveman basically who comes into a relationship with a T-Rex. Like they're like, I don't know, like they're a dynamic duo, I guess, and they're like going through dinosaur land and everything that existed, back in that time period and helping each other out. There's not a lot of speaking involved in this series whatsoever. The animation's okay. I'm just not a huge fan of it. And to me, it's almost a little too mature. Like, I don't like seeing some of the stuff you see in the first episode. I'm not trying to spoil it, I guess, but like, there's definitely some like hard stuff to watch in the first episode. So I don't know if that would be something that would make my list, but I get that it was very critically acclaimed again. It does a lot without a lot of voice work and stuff like that. It's just not something for me personally. So let's go to Steve first this time. What do you think of? We got My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Nico and the Sword of Light, Over the Garden Wall, Paw Patrol, and Primal.
So I could see people voting for My Little Pony just because it went on, honestly, for 9 seasons. That's quite a bit in today's animation world.
Yeah.
Plus you had John Delancey. So there is a benefit there too. What's funny is we interviewed him right around the time that this was coming out and he played on that show. And then I've seen bits and pieces of it. It's not something for me, but I can see why it would have the critical acclaim, especially going on 221 episodes and 9 seasons. So Nico looks interesting. I have not seen it, but again, I will put this on my list of to watch. And Over the Garden Wall, while I am not a fan of the animation style, it does have some legendary actors in it with like Elijah Wood, Christopher Lloyd, John Cleese. So could be something interesting. But again, I don't see like me investing in this one in particular for the list just because it's only 10 episodes. So
right.
I'm trying to also stay away from shows that are only one season because I'm like, how can it be a top 100 if it went on for one season?
Yeah.
Like if you were doing cult classics,
I get that argument
of top 100s, then I could see it being on it.
It almost feels like to me, it's like judging a band that had one hit.
Yeah.
It's like a one hit wonder type thing.
That could be an interesting way to look at it in the future, doing a show that never quite got there enough to, cult classic animated series or something, and having shows that didn't qualify for this.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Paw Patrol. Oh my goodness, my kids loved this show. 12 seasons. 12 seasons. They watched the crap out of it on Netflix. Like the crap out of it. They loved it when they were babysat with family. They loved it even up till about 2 years ago. Had a lot of the stuff. Just loved the show. So I can see this one being on the list. It's not on my list, but I'm pretty sure that for a list that they would put together, it would be on it. Primal, I'm not a fan of Gennady Tartakovsky, other than a few select shows that he's done. This just doesn't look like something I would enjoy, so it won't be on my list.
Yeah, I watched one episode and I probably won't watch a second.
Yeah.
So that's just me. But Mike, what about you for this set of 5?
One thing I'll say that is not gonna make my list is Paw Patrol, and it has nothing to do it's just not in my age, or I'm too old for it. I don't have kids, like I've said before already in this episode. I recorded something 2 years ago. Episode 317 of GeekCast Radio was children's television programming then and now with my good Canadian friend Jennifer Kaufman. And I remember when I released that episode, OptimusSolo was like, "How could you do this without me?" And I said there was a specific agenda for this episode. Jennifer had made comments on Facebook, specifically her rant about Paw Patrol and why she thought it was a horrible show. And that's why I had her on that episode, was so she could get her rant out, because I believe everybody needs to have a voice on whether they like or dislike something. And we didn't go full rant the whole time. It is a show, it is a podcast about children's television programming then and now, at least now as of 2023. So yeah, folks, if you want to hear that, episode 317 of GeekCast Radio. So that was interesting. I see the title Over the Garden Wall, and all I can think of is, why you want to eavesdrop on Adam and Eve? We know what happened. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is great. I've only seen a handful of episodes, but I've seen enough of the show to know that it's amazing. John Delancey, as you guys have already mentioned it, absolutely amazing. We've actually covered several of the comic books based on that from IDW over on the Pull Bag. They did a series called My Little Pony Fiendship is Magic, where Beatles Diva and I covered that on the Pull Bag, but that show is awesome. That show's great. Interesting fun fact to note, and I'll have to do the research on this after the show to figure out when the lovely service we're using to record this podcast was created versus when the character was created, because John Delancey's character's name was Discord. I've never heard of Nico and the Sword of Light, and I've never heard of Primal. The only Primal I knew was I think it's a current video game, maybe. And then the only other version of it that I knew was a Richard Gere movie in the 90s called Primal Fear. I think it was the 90s.
I thought for sure you knew about it.
Primal, there is the giant monkey, but
well, there was a video game of Primal way back in the 90s.
Yeah, but like there's also a newer version of, I could have sworn. Anyway.
All right, that does it for the first half of the nominees for today. Let's see what we have in store for the second half.
He looks just like Rigby.
Did somebody order an accountant?
I love this tasty lick.
Man, that guy is the Red Grin Grumbolt of pretending he knows what's going on. Oh, you agree, huh? You like that Red Grin Grumbolt reference?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I made him up.
No, they're not. And what about this Fred Jones? Certainly there must be other boys.
Not like Fred. He's like one of those geniuses that no one understands until they're dead.
This is what I've been working for my entire life. I wonder what's even outside the fright zone. We're gonna see the world and conquer it.
Ketra, slow down!
Adora.
Captain's log, stardate 57436.2. The Cerritos is docked at Douglas Station for routine maintenance and resupply.
Oh my god! What are you doing?
Nothing.
Oh no! Oh no! Are you pretending to do a captain's log?
We're all supposed to keep logs.
Okay, let me listen to it.
No, go away.
All right, a couple more that are obviously very popular in society or pop culture, I guess, could start off with a couple here, even though I have never seen them. Another one from 2010, a lot of series so far from 2010. I think we had Adventure Time was 2010. We had My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, and we're going to have Regular Show right now from 2010. 261 episodes, over 20 awards. We have Rick and Morty, which obviously was super popular. I don't know if it still is, but it came out in 2013. Over 15 awards for that one. Another 2010 series, Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. Mike already talked briefly about that one, but Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. is our third one in this block. We have She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. You may have to separate Mike and myself during any conversation on that one. And then we have Star Trek Lower Decks, another entry, our second one from the 2020s that came out in 2020. So, Steve, let's start with you on this one. We have Regular Show, Rick and Morty, Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc., She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, and Star Trek Lower Decks.
So, starting off, Regular Show is automatically one of those ones that I tried to watch, and I did try to watch it. I couldn't get into it. It between the animation and then I don't care for the show and the writing. So I moved on from that pretty quickly. Rick and Morty, I know that a lot of people enjoy that. It's definitely goofy, and there's a lot of, time and a lot of different weirdisms, almost akin to I would say like a Beetlejuice and some of the other things from back in the 90s that you could kind of play in that field. I haven't watched a whole lot of this, and I get why a lot of people would like it. It's not something for me, but I can understand this one at least a little bit more. I don't love the animation either, but at least it tries to do something. Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, it's obviously a modern update of Scooby-Doo, and you get guest stars in some of it. You get them doing what they always do. Modern colors, modern, updated actors, because you get Matthew Lillard playing Shaggy and Frank Welker playing Fred and Scooby. And there's an episode where they talk to themselves with the voice actors in the voice booth. They're like, "Oh, you sound like me, blah, blah, blah." Yeah, so I mean, this one's a pretty nice updating of the show, and I think it could stand on its own, especially if you're not a fan of the original show. This kind of lives in that vein without being too much in it. She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, again, this one's an animation thing for me. I mean, there was also a lot of different drama with this one being out, not just animation, but a lot of things that people disliked, and it bears no bearing on me for this. I was never a fan of She-Ra anyway, so this doesn't impact me whatsoever. Not a show I'd probably list, but again, it is what it is. Star Trek Lower Decks, this one is done by the guy that did some of the stuff on like Rick and Morty, and at least I think it is. Mike McMahon also had a Twitter page that he did like TNG season 8. As so he loved the continuity.
Yeah.
So it's very much a comedy show of lower deckers and kind of plays in that realm. And you get, your red shirts, you get your gold shirts, your blue shirts, and you get some actors reprising their original characters as voices like John Delancey and Jonathan Frakes and George Takei, Jolene Blaylock, so you get a bunch of different actors from the olden days coming back periodically, and Jonathan Frakes is kind of like in everything Star Trek, pretty much everything but TOS he's been in, and Discovery. So there's that. The show's a lot of fun. I went into it and I didn't love it the first season. And then it grew on me, and I actually enjoyed the show to the point that I actually looked forward to it as much as I did like Strange New Worlds and Picard season 3. So,
nice.
I think this one was very well done, and some people say it's overrated. They at least try to play in the continuity, which I found refreshing, and so they would go back to old plot points and do something new, and then all of their posters were kind of play on different motion picture posters. So yeah, this one will definitely be on my list.
For me, and I'll kind of go in reverse order, I guess. So I'm a fan of just about all things Star Trek. There hasn't been a whole lot in the Star Trek universe that I have watched that I haven't liked. We're making our way through the last little bit of Strange New Worlds. That's the only one that we haven't seen in its entirety, but I have not gotten to the animated series yet. So both any of the Star Trek animated series are kind of on my watch list. Just haven't got to them yet. So I need to make time for that before we finalize our list. She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. This is something more that I just like to poke Mike about. I actually haven't seen most of this show. I've seen, I think, the first season, or at least half of the first season, if not the whole first season. I was a fan of like most of what I saw, but I do know it kind of goes in a lot of different directions throughout the rest of the series and has some controversy and things of that nature. So I don't know if I'm a fan of that in my animated series, just to kind of leave it somewhat nondescript. But I just like playing with Mike there because I know he's not a fan.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll get the chance to talk about it in a second. Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated will for sure get a vote from me. I think there's not many times that I would vote for something over the original. I'm not saying I'm doing that here either, but like what we talked about with DuckTales earlier on, right? Like we were talking about the original versus the 2017 reboot, things of that nature. Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. is it's like a reboot that actually could give the original a run for its money if the original wasn't like Scooby-Doo, like the franchise Scooby-Doo, right? Like it's just so iconic that it's hard to beat that original. But Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. is a fantastic reboot. So I think it's definitely worthy. Rick and Morty and regular show I haven't seen, so I will have to catch up with that. Those two, if they were to get a vote, would be more so on just like the overwhelming support that they seem to have in most groups that talk about this type of thing. But I would like to actually get a chance to watch some of that for myself before I put them there. But I could see both of them making our countdown potentially. Mike, what do you think of this set of 5?
Yeah, I've never had a chance to check out Lower Decks, so I'm going to have to put that on my list to check it out. Rick and Morty and regular show, I've seen a smattering of both of them, but I've never actually watched a full episode. So again, those are going to have to go on the Watch 5 list. Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc., I've already said what I have seen of it. I've absolutely loved it. Art direction done by the late, great Derek J. Wyatt. Derek passed away a number of years ago. I have had the chance to talk to him, interview him several times. He's been on Toycast. He's been on several other I think All Things Transformers. I don't know if we did a Transformation Animation interview with him, but he's been on GCRN in the past, and unfortunately he passed away a number of years ago. She-Ra and the Princesses of Mother Power. Oh, God. I don't give two craps about the offline creative, whatever, showrunner, BS, whatever. The show itself, I don't like the animation style. I think, but I would have to go back and look through my Netflix, and I don't even know if I even have the same Netflix queue now that I did back then. So I don't even know, because I can tell you, no, I don't, because I can tell you this show currently isn't in my Netflix list. I don't even know anyway, I remember when I sat down to watch this, I sat down to give it the college try. I watched the first season. I watched the second season. By the end of the second season, I was flipping done. I could not stand the writing. I could not stand the characters. It just wasn't a show for me. I understand it's a show for somebody. I understand it was, and when I say it wasn't a show for me, I was not expecting them to magically transport 1985 to 1987 She-Ra and make it modern times. Fine, you want to write a modern day version of She-Ra? Great. That's awesome. But don't do it the way I just didn't like it. And I'll go back and I'll try again, but this time I'm only watching 5 episodes. Somebody paid me to watch The Acolyte, and I watched it. Still didn't like it, but I watched it, and I gave my honest opinion from watching it. But there ain't no way in hell I would ever take money to watch more than 5 episodes of She-Ra. And I'm not asking anyone to do so now. But for our rules of giving it the 5-episode rule, I will rewatch 5 episodes of this show. But I just remember going through watching the first 2 seasons of this every time that they dropped a new season. When it dropped, I just didn't. It was just bad writing. Bad writing on top of animation I didn't want to see because of the style of animation. It just wasn't for me at all. And I just
fair enough.
Just can't do it.
All right, let's see what the next set of 5 holds.
On behalf of Starfleet, welcome aboard.
What is that?
Have you ever even flown a ship before?
No. Does it show?
Disabling gravity.
Okay.
And tame wild unicorns! I like to have fun! And I'm about to have a whole lot more because today is my 14th birthday! And according to tradition, my mom, the queen, has to bestow upon me our greatest family heirloom, the royal magic wand!
That thing's not a Wookiee.
Haven't you ever seen a rare hairless Wookiee before?
Oh, forget it. Told you they wouldn't buy it.
You didn't exactly give them a chance to buy it.
It's just something about the feel of their helmets on my fist.
No! This can't be happening! This has to be a dream! Lars! Lars! Please tell me I'm dreaming!
Get off me, man. I'm stuck in here.
I never thought we'd come back.
And you'll wish you never had.
It's an ambush!
You were fools to return. And now, with your help, I will take over this land once again!
It's over, Dragon!
It has only begun. The song is mine, you fools!
So we ended with Star Trek Lower Decks. We'll start this group with Star Trek Prodigy from 2021, our 3rd series from the 2020s here to make the nominee list. We also have from 2015, Star versus the Forces of Evil. We have Star Wars Rebels from 2014, another Star Wars animated series that gets a chance to be on the top 100. We have Steven Universe from 2013, and also from 2013, Teen Titans Go, which says it has 393 episodes. Is that real? Anyway, I will start real quick because I don't have a whole lot to say. Like I said, with Star Trek Lower Decks, I haven't seen any of the animated Star Trek stuff, so I need to catch up with that. I'm still trying to catch up with Star Wars Clone Wars, so Star Wars Rebels will come after that. So hopefully I'll have a chance to watch some of that before the countdown. I know that this one is very well received, well thought of, critically acclaimed. So it's probably going to get a vote for me regardless, just on like its reputation. But I'll try to get to it beforehand. Teen Titans Go, I can't see myself watching that. Steven Universe, I'll potentially watch 5 episodes just to be fair. I don't know if I'll do the same for Star versus the Forces of Evil. a lot of this is just not from my time period, so it's hard for me to get behind some of them, but we'll see how it goes. Mike, what do you think of this set of 5?
Steven Universe, that again, the only thing stopping me on that, again, I will give it the 5-episode try, but the thing mainly stopping me on that is the animation style. Teen Titans Go, again, it's okay. How we said earlier that Steve and I liked Justice League Action because it was a more comedic version of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Justice League and Justice League Unlimited was actually really, really good, which means we knew, well, we didn't know going in, but after seeing Justice League Action and seeing the more comedic version, it was good. This is not that case, where Teen Titans from 2003, 2004 was a really good, serious, awesome show. This just, hey, there's good comedy and then there's ham bone comedy. This is ham bone comedy just to ham it up, and it's just not good. Star versus the Forces of Evil, I think I've seen commercials for it when commercials were still a thing in my world. Star Wars Rebels, simply awesome. Absolutely love it. And then Star Trek Prodigy, I will have to watch that myself.
Steve, what do you think about this set of 5?
So I'll start with Star Trek Prodigy. I watched this one, and they do use for some of the, because it's a new crew that kind of commandeers a Starfleet ship that's run derelict on a mining colony, basically. And there's definitely something that Starfleet did wrong at one point and endangered like a civilization that has a definite revenge plot going with the Prodigy. And Janeway is pretty heavily involved, and Chakotay and the EMH, and so you get some of these different aspects through the first 2 seasons. I honestly wish that they would have gotten another season because they were just getting ready to set off on the Voyager A for more adventures, and it was really well done. And the scenes that they use, like the holodeck, for instance, they would call on, old Starfleet characters or personnel like Spock and Dr. Crusher and some of these other characters, and they would use for the deceased actors, they would use like some canned audio footage for them, and then the other ones they would just voice their character again. And so the show was really well done. It took a while to get used to some of the characters, but the show was really well received. And this kind of breaks a little bit of I believe this was on Nickelodeon. So it broke the trauma I had prior to the 2021 era. So this was a really good show. It'll be on my list. Star versus the Forces of Evil. It's a CalArts thing. I don't enjoy it, so it's not going to be on my list. Star Wars Rebels, that was a spectacular show. I genuinely enjoyed this. This was like the first animated Star Wars show I'd ever watched. Like, I didn't even watch Clone Wars until after this. And this was so well done and so well enjoyed that I was glad when they started showing up in the live action. So this is a good one here. Steven Universe, again, CalArts, not something I'm going to enjoy. I tried watching that one too. I quickly shut it off. Just didn't like it. And then Teen Titans Go, I can tolerate this one. It's annoying and kind of stupid too, like some of the other ones. And it's short, and I believe it uses a lot of the same actors, if not all of them, from the original Teen Titans. It just makes them kind of
all reprise, and
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It had 437 episodes, which is a massive undertaking, but they were only like 11-minute episodes.
Oh,
or at least I think they were.
Yeah, I think they were micro episodes. I think the best thing to come out of Teen Titans Go was I don't know if it was direct to video or not, but the Teen Titans Go to the Movies movie. Like, that was the best thing that came out of this.
So I'll do you one better. They had a 4-part episode called The Night Begins to Shine. And it was, because I just rewatched it recently. They basically they play a song and they go into this 80s time warp, and it takes them into an alternate land. And there's this, they play the song and they encounter a red dragon in the other dimension, and it's voiced none other by David Kaye.
David Kaye, yeah.
And so he's like, the song will belong to me.
All right, let's see what comes next after that set of 5.
How am I supposed to fight advanced alien technology with a stupid stick?
Oh, Grubby. Don't go there. I'm on the verge. See you in Jollywood. Poof, the Queen, magic. Gonna be a long episode. Ma'am, do you find the new speed bumps in your neighborhood a nuisance?
Yes, I believe these imported speed bumps do not fit the regulation standard.
The White Lotus has honored my family by coming. Thank you.
Welcome.
We have investigated many claims, both here and in the Northern Tribe. All have turned out to be false.
And someday, when you're queen...
Heads up! Incoming!
Oh!
Kion? Oh! Sorry, Dad. Me and Bunker were playing Baobab Ball, and Kion couldn't handle the pass. What? A giraffe couldn't handle it. You kicked it over my head.
Kion.
All right, coming up in this group, interested to hear your guys' take on this. We have the 2012 reboot, or whatever you would like to call, of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So the 2012 version of Turtles. Another one of those interesting conversations that we have sometimes with these is how franchise installments work, and do some eliminate others, or things of that nature. I know we had 4 Spider-Man series in our original Top 100. This has got to be the 3rd or 4th Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that we've talked about so far in the nominees. We have from 2014, the 7D from Disney. We have from 2011, The Amazing World of Gumball, which I know is very popular in its time. I know this next one we would probably get shunned if we don't include it on our top 100 list. This would be The Legend of Korra from 2012. The next thing in the Avatar world, the Last Airbender. And then we have from 2016, The Lion Guard. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 7D, The Amazing World of Gumball, The Legend of Korra, and The Lion Guard. Mike, why don't you start us off on this set of 5?
Boy, TMNT 2012. The first 2 seasons were really cool. They were really fun. Season 3, something happened, and I think between season 2 and season 3, off camera, off mic, off whatever, Jason Biggs did a bunch of stupid things, because the voice of Leonardo is now being played by Seth Green. They replaced Jason Biggs with Seth Green in season 3 of TMNT 2012, and I didn't mind it. I don't mind Seth as a voice actor. TMNT 2012. I only really remember the first 2 seasons and like the first 5 episodes of the 3rd season. I never went back to it. It was just a time thing. I just lost track of that show. But I do remember watching the first 2 seasons, and I do remember really, really enjoying the first 2 seasons of that show. Kevin Michael Richardson as the Shredder. You had Rob Paulson returning as Donatello this time. So you got double turtle duty. You got he was Raph in the original series. Now he's Donnie in the new series at the time. It was a really good show. 7D, thank God, finally something without the burdens of the, we must wake her from her poisoning. We must do this. We must do that. The cool thing about Disney's The 7D is it's the dwarfs with all the fun and shenanigans they have without Snow White and all the rest of the BS of that stuff. And the 7D, you have Billy West You have Kevin Michael Richardson. You have Maurice LaMarche. You have D. Bradley Baker. I'm trying to remember them all. Bill Farmer. You've got all the Stephen Stanton. You get all these amazing voice actors playing the Seven Dwarfs. You've got Lee Ellen Baker playing Queen Delightful. You've got, I think, Paul Rugg plays Lord Starchbottom, I think. But it's basically just the Seven Dwarves doing their adventures and having fun. And it's just an amazing show that should have gotten more than 2 seasons. It was done by Tom Ruger, same guy that did Tiny Toons and Animaniacs and A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. So it's that same type of humor. And it's just hilarious. You got Billy West playing Bashful. It's just hilarious. It's just absolutely hilarious. I absolutely love that show. I've only seen a handful of episodes of Gumball, never seen Korra, never seen Airbender. Lion Guard, is that the Lion King follow-up?
Yes.
I saw like 1 or 2 episodes of it, but I never saw, I wanted to watch more of it, but I just never did.
All right. Steve, what do you think of this out of 5?
So Ninja Turtles is a lock for me. I've loved this series, the 2003 and the 87. It's CGI. They also have an episode where they touch on the 87 Turtles and Krang, and so that was fun too. You get a little bit different background with the Utroms and Shredder, and a lot of fun. Fits in the same vein. The 7D, I'll give it a shot. I am not familiar with it. I mean, I know Mike loves the show. It kind of boils down to an animation thing for me too.
Okay, I'll give you 2 hints here. Okay, I'll give you one thing. Think what would happen if you took Grumpy the Dwarf and meshed in Brain from Animaniacs. So it's Maurice LaMarche voicing Grumpy. So think of it as the Brain, but he's grumpy all the time. And him and Happy, who is voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson, they're basically the Laurel and Hardy or the Abbott and Costello to each other throughout the whole show.
I'll give it a shot anyway. The Amazing World of Gumball. I hate this animation. So, and I did try and watch an episode of it, and I just, yeah. So moving on from that, the Legend of Korra, the animation looks really well done, especially for a Nickelodeon show.
Yeah,
I will give this one a shot. So I have nothing to say on it right now. The Lion Guard I have seen though. My kids liked it, got really into it, knew the whole mythos. So you get Rob Lowe playing Simba. I've seen this one enough that it's pretty good and kind of stays true, but it kind of reinvents the whole Lion King. It's definitely not a translation from the films to an animated series. It definitely progresses the timeline, and then you get a lot of the hyenas and a lot of the other characters' natural progression in this show. So it's very fitting. Not on my list, but I mean, it may end up on my list. I don't know. It's definitely deserving too.
Yeah.
Rob Lowe, Austin Powers #2 as Simba. I can't envision that.
For me, I got to watch a little bit more of the 2012 Turtles to distinguish how many turtle spots I have on my countdown and if it deserves to be in there or not. The 7D I really enjoy. It's going to be a numbers thing whether that makes the countdown or not. I've not seen Amazing World of Gumball. I know on reputation Legend of Korra probably belongs along with Avatar: The Last Airbender. Lion Guard, I think, is fun. I've seen a little bit of that with my daughter and things of that nature. I don't think there's anything wrong with the show. I don't know if there will be room in a top 100 for it, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. So, all right, we're down to our final 10. Let's see what the first half of that 10 holds.
That one was so good it deserves a cookie. Oh, thanks. So anyway, what's one light bulb say to the other? You're glowing. I already told you that one?
No, dude. You are glowing.
Lionel, come in. I have something for you. Jorma here sells certain hard-to-find collectibles.
You mean black market items?
They're more than that.
What is all this?
It's what's out there, beyond Thundera's walls.
Where are we, Megatronus? Don't you remember, old friend? That will not be necessary or possible. Cybertron is no longer our home. This planet is.
Kanjigar. A troll hunter never yields. I'd rather die. Terms accepted.
For the first half of that, 10 shows that we have left to make our nominees for this episode. We start off with The Loud House from 2016. That has over 260 episodes. We have the 2011 version of the Thundercats, followed by the 2010 version of Transformers. This one was called Transformers Prime. Speaking of the hub, we have another Transformers show, Rescue Bots, and then we have Troll Hunters from 2016, which I believe was a Netflix show. I could be wrong on that. For me, I have not seen The Loud House or Troll Hunters yet, so I will have to give those a shot. Out of the other three, to me, Thundercats from 2011 is a lot like G.I. Joe Renegades in the fact that it gets cut off before it gets to like do its full thing. So I don't know if for me that will give it enough to warrant being on the list, even though I really did enjoy what we got from it. Transformers Prime, if I have enough room for another Transformers show, that would probably be the one that I would add in there along with the original, and Beast Wars / Beast Machines would have a chance. It would probably be between Beast Machines and Transformers Prime on which, if I have room for a third one. Transformers Rescue Bot has no chance in hell for making my list just because of this thing. If I only am allowing so many Transformers shows, like Rescue Bots is, I would probably put in animated before I put in Rescue Bots. It's just not my thing.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of either of those, but I am a big fan of Transformers Prime. So I don't know. Steve, what do you think of this set of 5?
So the Loud House, again, it's Cal art style. No. Thundercats, this one, I'm inclined to say that it deserves a spot, even though it's not like in like a really ongoing here. And well, yes, it did get on streaming and it was a Cartoon Network thing. Cartoon Network kind of screwed the pooch on it.
Yeah.
I think that it was definitely promising, kind of like Renegades. Like it had the legs to go. They just studio. Transformers Prime. This one's weird for me because I enjoyed it at the time, and this was one of the hub shows. I mean, you get Cullen as Prime, Welker as Megatron, Steve Bloom as Starscream, and then Jeffrey Combs and David Soboleff, and so I mean, you get all these actors in there, and they're great, and the story is great, and the animation is as well. But I found like the longer it went, the more I kind of lost interest.
Fair enough.
So like while I could vote for it, and I probably will, it's difficult for me. Rescue Bots, I enjoyed as a from the parent perspective of watching Transformers with my kids, like getting them in this, and they of course collected the characters and everything. So and it was cool having Colin jump in there and Bumblebee and occasionally. So my kids enjoyed it. It had 104 episodes, 4 seasons, so it definitely was warranted. When it went to Rescue Bot Academy, that's where I felt like it kind of fell off the cliff, because it was kind of continuing, but not really. And they changed all of the voice cast to non-union at that point. So everybody that's in this show is gone. So Steve Bloom's gone. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I could see this one being on there, especially if you got kids and have seen it. And then of course, Troll Hunters. it's DreamWorks.
Mm-hmm.
It's got good actors in it for one, but I don't foresee me doing this just because I'm not a huge fan of trolls anyway, or like these mystical universe type stuff.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you think?
I think The Loud House is probably the only CalArt style animation show that I would vote for, because I remember when that came out and I liked the premise of it. And I thought it was cool at the time. Between Thundercats 2011, Transformers Prime, and Transformers Rescue Bots, at least the first part of Transformers Rescue Bots, not Academy, you have one voice actor connecting all three. Because the end of Transformers Prime, after 3 seasons, we get the most shocking reveal of the entire series. Batman Beyond is the voice of Bumblebee. I was not expecting, after 3 seasons, Wilfried L. to show up as being the voice of Bumblebee in Transformers Prime. Obviously, he's the voice of Lion-O in Thundercats 2011. Because Transformers Prime rolls into Rescue Bots, because we all love to roll the Rescue Bots around here, go check out Michael Wilson's old YouTube channel for Roll the Rescue Bots. And you know, he continues to voice Bumblebee in that. And yeah, and same thing with Steve. I don't do trolls. There ain't no Billy Goat's Gruff around here. So yeah.
All right. Did Kevin Michael Richardson not appear in Rescue Bots ever?
Bulkhead? I don't remember.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I was going to say, otherwise he connects them all too.
That's
all
true
right.
too.
So 5 shows left for the nominations for this era. Let's see what they are.
Fine. Pinch, go right! Lance, go left! Keith, make me a sandwich, stat! Yes, you heard me. I'm the leader now, dang it!
All right, you're not the one. Out of the line.
Oh, man, this store has the best furniture. I can't wait to put together a new,
Hemsmax doll.
Right, that thing.
Ice Bear needs this.
I am the Watcher. I am your guide through these vast new realities. Follow me and ponder the question, what if?
Hey, it's me, Martin, half of the Krat Brothers. When it's raining outside, a lot of people are like, oh no, it's too wet, I'm staying inside.
Oh, boy wonder. The bat sent you to drag me off to prison. Frankly, I'm underwhelmed.
First time at the hall. I'm a little overwhelmed.
You're overwhelmed. Freeze was underwhelmed. Why isn't anyone ever just whelmed?
All right, we start off this section with the 2016 version of Voltron. This one was called Voltron Legendary Defender. We have We Bear Bears, which is kind of hard to say if you say it fast. That's from 2015. That aired over 140 episodes. We have What If, another entrance from the 2020s, 2021 specifically. We have Wild Kratts from 2011, over 150 episodes of that. And then we have Young Justice from 2010, another 2010 show makes an appearance. So Voltron Legendary Defender, We Bear Bears, What If, ... question mark, Wild Kratts, and Young Justice. Mike, what do you think?
You are saying Wild Kratts and not cats, right?
Correct. Wild Kratts. The Krat brothers. I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay,
Wild
I
Kratts.
just
It's
want-
like a nature slash.
Yeah. No,
animal.
I just
Yeah.
want to make sure I'm hearing I just want to make sure my ears are working properly, because I'm half blind anyway. Legendary Defender. I think my buddy Joe Reed and I did a couple of episodes of Tooncast on that on the first 2 seasons. I enjoyed it for what it was. I honestly don't remember it at this point in time right now as we're doing this recording, but it was a good updating of Voltron. I've only seen We Bear Bears in clips. I've never actively watched that show. What If is amazing. Friends of mine and I did episodes of Tooncast. I think it was most likely Tooncast. I'm trying to remember, how did we do that? Did we do the first 2 seasons? I know we haven't done season 3 yet. We've got podcasts somewhere. Obviously, since I didn't even know what the hell he said, folks, I have no idea what the Wild Kratts is. And then Young Justice is great. Young Justice is very awesome. So, yep.
All right. I will have to give Voltron a chance. I'm not the biggest Voltron fan in the world, just like the franchise overall, but and I get them all confused. I feel like there's been a lot of them that seem to blend together, but I should give that one a chance. I've never seen any of We Bare Bears, What If, or Young Justice, so I'll have to figure out which ones I want to give a shot to. Wildcats is a great show for a younger audience. It's definitely very much like nature knowledge, like teaching people about nature and animals and things like that. They had a live action version before that, the Kratt Brothers, and then this is like the animated version. My daughter loves it. I don't know if it's something I would vote for. I do know that Young Justice out of these 5 is probably the most acclaimed, but I have not seen it. So Steve, what do you think about this last set of 5?
Well, Voltron, Legendary Defender, I saw, I think, the first few episodes when it came out on, I believe it was on Netflix when it first came out.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. And it's funny, Josh Keaton in there.
Yep.
Yeah, I did watch some of this initially when it came out, and I enjoyed what I saw. I think I'm not a huge Voltron fan, so I kind of I kind of churned out of the show at that point. But it did go on 8 seasons, so there is that. We Bare Bears, Cal Arts, I've never heard of it before this, but honestly, I don't see me watching it, even though it had 140 episodes. Just doesn't look like something I would enjoy. What If was really well done. Great graphics, great story, great jumping through the multiverse. This one I feel like was just kind of a slam dunk, just great overall, especially if you're, well versed in a lot of the stuff with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Forget the other series. Like if you've seen all the films like this, you'll be able to kind of track with this. The Wildcrats, my kids watched this one for a while. I was familiar with the original show that these guys were a part of, which was the Zabumafu. Yeah. So I was familiar with that at that time, and my kids watched the show and enjoyed it, and I think it definitely lands pretty well. I mean, they get to almost like Wonder Twin power activate type thing with their powers for becoming the animals or Beast Boy or something. So I mean, it kind of works in that realm, and you get to learn something about the animals. So it's cool. Young Justice was an interesting new take, kind of like a lower decks for the Justice League, and you kind of get, instead of the Teen Titans, you get something a little bit more grown up than that. And occasionally the Justice League would show up and different things would happen. Went on 98 episodes, 4 seasons. I actually have a couple of signed scripts from this one because I met Greg Wiseman at a convention years ago. But yeah, I mean, the show was pretty cool, and it was interesting, and I watched it through, I think, season 3, and then I think I just didn't have whatever station it was on at the time to finish it, so I haven't actually finished it to this day.
Right.
It was on Cartoon Network, I think, for its entire run at the time, and I think now it's probably on HBO Max.
It is.
All right. So that concludes the 50 episodes or 50 series, that are eligible from today's episode. It also concludes the 250 episodes or shows that we have revealed in our different episodes with all of our nominees. So looking at just the ones from today, Steve, is there anything that just really jumps off the page at you from the last 15 years? And also, do you have a prediction of how many of these more recent shows may actually have enough to crack our top 100?
I think at least 25 of these are going to pop into the top 100. I think there's a lot in here that are high contenders. From each block, if I had to pick one from each block that is going to kind of stand out, like I would say either, Bob's Burgers or Adventure Time for the first block. I could see Dragon Ball Super or BoJack being from that block. From the next one, I could see Gravity Falls and Invincible. From the next block after that, I could see like the Masters of the Universe or Kung Fu Panda, My Little Pony and Paw Patrol, Rick and Morty, and either regular show or Lower Decks, Star Trek Prodigy, Star Wars Rebels, or Steven Universe, and then like the Turtles and Legend of Korra. Probably I could see Troll Hunters and, you know, the Transformers Prime, and then, you know, probably like definitely What If and probably Wildcrat. So I mean, I can see like definitely at least 20 of these, 20 to 25 being the high contenders to take some of the other ones out in this.
Do you think it ranks as, I know we talked about it a little bit with the 90s and the 2000s. Which of these three time periods that are the most recent do you think reign supreme, and what order do they go in?
Which top three?
So like, do you think the 90s will have the most, the 2000s, or this group?
That's going to be tough. I can see, I would almost argue that this would almost rival the 90s.
Yep, I agree.
I think the 2010s, I think, are going to kind of rival the 80s. And then I think, you know, anything pre-80s is probably going to get wiped out in comparison to the 90s, 2000s, and 2010s on up. The 80s, I feel like, is going to be the kind of outlier. There'll probably be some that are familiar with it, but I think that a lot of the pre-1980s are going to get wiped out.
Mike, what do you think? Do you think 25 is a good guess for this group, or less or more?
I'm going to say 21 just to be on average, but I don't disagree that 25 could be the key factor.
Yeah, a lot of it will depend on the age of the panel and everybody we get to vote. There always is some recency bias that can play a part. You know, what's in the closest to the top of your mind and things of that nature. I think Steve, you know, just definitely rattled off 20 shows, 22, 23 shows when he was just naming them from each block that you could think would be pretty heavy contenders. So I could definitely see it going that way. It's going to be interesting to see, you know, which ones from our original one get booted, and how much does it correlate to how many of these get in? You know, it won't be a 1-to-1 ratio, because there may be some others that have just faded more over time, or some that, you know, were from the 2000s maybe that had more time to gain strength. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Mike, we've revealed 250 shows. There may be a listener out there that is thinking during one of the nomination episodes that we've recorded that we left something out, or a show they really liked didn't make it. What do you say to those folks?
So there will be a follow-up episode at some point where we are going to give you a chance of voting
to add some more additional shows to the 250.
Yes, but we don't know how that's going to happen right now, because we haven't even figured that out at this point in time at almost midnight. So we're going to put a pin in that for now. What I will say,
don't get the pitchforks out yet, because you're going to have a chance. If you feel like a show got snubbed, you may have a second chance.
Yeah, exactly. There'll be a second chance podcast coming up with all the information and everything else. So don't be like Homer and Bart and everybody else and put your torches and pitchforks away. This isn't the Simpsons movie. And before we let you go, as we've said as I said at the top of the show, this was just a taste of things to come. This is giving everyone an appetizer of what we have in store. No choices have been made. No ballots have been cast. No dies have been thrown. After all, this isn't Dungeons and Dragons, thank God. That show is horrible. Any final thoughts from you, Steve, or you, Kevin, before I run down the closing?
I'm good.
Nope.
All right. Thank you for listening to us here on GeekCast Radio. You can visit geekcastradio.com, where you can listen to and comment on all of our content. Buy our merch. Visit shop.geekcastradio.com. You can send any email for feedback to feedback@geekcastradio.com. Join our Discord. The link will be in the show notes. You can join us next time when we will be talking about something. Hopefully it'll be that supplementary follow-up show. Most likely that's what we're planning for, is to let you guys know exactly how you can contribute for the listener fan vote, write-in vote, whatever vote 2000s. Hopefully we don't screw this up. So that's probably what's coming up next. For now, I am TFG and Mike with
Steve Megatron
and OptimusSolo.
Thank you for listening. Until next time, oh yeah, and unleash the geek in you.
You've just heard a podcast from the GeekCast Radio Network. If you enjoyed this discussion, head over to geekcastradio.com to check out this episode's post for more insights and links. Interact with the show, feedback at geekcastradio.com, or interact with us on X at GeekCast Radio and on Facebook at GeekCast Radio Network. Don't forget to subscribe to the GeekCast Radio Network of podcasts on your favorite podcatcher. So until next time, unleash the geek in you.